Okay, so we've got here now the submarine tucked out of the way a little bit because the guts are out here on my workbench. It looks very, very messy. There's no way around that. Issue is it's all nicely soldered in. Everything's soldered now to make sure it's all fairly secure. What we have is I've just used a circuit board for all of the power connections. It's going to be really useful because later on when I put the whole thing together I'll know what goes where. This is the Arduino. I have here a 4x relay set. Here's a 2x relay set. That's the RX. I've got the self-leveling device just sitting here. I've got the ESC that runs the bow thruster. I've got here the pressure gauge, which runs out, in this case, into a bottle. And up here I've got the two distance sensors and obviously the motors for the pistons. I don't have the O-rings on the pistons yet. Now the thing I've noticed about the sensors now that I'm working with them is that they read differently in darkness to light, and I think that's because my pistons are white. Not sure about that, but it could be the case. This is adjusted now though, just for in this particular operation in this particular spot. Here we have the hydroplane on the sail, and down here is where the bow thruster is going to go. So let me show you. Oh, one other thing is this, which is a compass. Okay, let's see how it all works. Okay, so the pistons are fully extended. The boat's on the surface. Put it in the water. I can give it a little run around. Rudder, that's fine. So surface running is okay, although in my view ability to steer this is a complete dog. So I've added here just this little ability with the knob on my controller to turn on the bow thruster, so that when I use the rudder now, the bow thruster is also coming on. It's a brushless bow thruster and it goes like a train, so it's going to be really quite good. The other option is, when I'm sailing along, if I decide that I'd like to hold a course, if I turn this little button like this, I no longer have control of the rudder, and the rudder is now controlled by the compass. A bit of work to do to get that working properly, but that's fine. Alright, so there we have it. That's the surface controls, although the rudder will also work submerged. But now I'm going to dive it, so I'm just going to hit the dive button. Now what you can't see very well is that this is starting off for about 14 seconds, because this bow one is larger than the stern one, and the boat will be up like that on the surface, and it'll be levelling. Now they both kick in. And because it's in diving routine, it's going to stop at the snapshot level, which is adjustable here on the controller. Looks slow, it is a bit slow, but these are actually quite large pistons and they're moving a lot of water. Okay, so they're now both at neutral buoyancy, and that's been set just by the controller here. Now what I can do at this depth, the Arduino is remembering the neutral buoyancy from the last time I sailed it. So if it's not quite right, I can use this knob or that knob just to adjust it somewhat. And if I can also use this knob to adjust fore and aft trim. So if I'm happy with where I am, and in this bottle of water I can see that this is the depth. I'm going to take a snapshot. Now that takes the picture of where these are and what the depth is. I can now, if I want, withdraw the pistons further to make it heavier. I'm not showing you that right now, but it's sitting now at neutral buoyancy. So I might just now put it into auto control, which does two different things. First of all, the bow hydro is now going up and down to keep the boat at the depth that the buoyancy figure is at. And secondly, I have now turned on the self-leveling device with that particular thing. So when I turn that off, all of that goes off and I'll surface. This goes off by about 4 or 5 seconds before that one. Honestly, I think it's going to work really well. Done.